Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. I hope this broadcast finds you well. And yes, fireworks are going off all around the world. A lot of things are changing all around the world. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about this interview Donald Trump had with Kristen Welker on NBC, whatever her show is. But anyway, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a lot of developing stories, and there are missiles flying. In the Middle East, we'll see if things hold up and what the prognostications concerning that situation are. And what do I do? While people are coming in, I play videos. And yeah, and I have to say, I should wait till after my videos play about that song. IDK, I don't know. I'll talk about that a little more. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and play some videos, and that'll give people time to come in and get themselves a cup of coffee or cold brew or a nice adult beverage of their choice. And then what will we do? We'll be like butter and get on the roll.
Relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
What is that?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows.
Today's ceremony, however, has very special meaning. Because today, we are not merely transferring power from one administration to another, or from one party to another, but we are transferring power from Washington, D.C., and giving it back to you, the people.
Court ruled against him.
Yeah.
But just so you understand, these are people that have been decimated. These are people that lost their lives over nonsense, where the FBI said, go in, police, go into the... And they were supposed to serve 5 years, 10 years in jail. People committed suicide. People were treated, there's never been anything like this. What happened to those people? And these were many great people. And I gave them pardons. I'm very proud to have given them pardons. And I think they should be reimbursed for a crooked government. The government was crooked. This was the Biden group. And it's not Biden. Biden was too gone. Biden was a stupid.
Has Somali immigration been good for Ohio?
That's really outside of my purview of
You're a state senator. Would you like to see more immigration from Somalia?
As far as I'm processing your question, and I have to say that I was almost brought to tears just now.
72% of Somali immigrants are on welfare.
The rate and the level of hateful rhetoric based on false
your state
information
at an astounding rate, and I think that most Ohioans would have a problem with that.
The lack of even humanity to group
I think it's
a group of
inhumane to
people
allow your
together.
own state to be defrauded at astounding rates.
I am shocked
Billions
and
of dollars
appalled by
taken
the
out of the
behavior
pockets
here
of
right
working
now.
class people
I am
going to
shocked.
criminal fraudsters.
Because
I certainly have a major problem
in every
with that.
community.
What?
The Insurrection Act, under what conditions or terms would you?
Well, I'd do it if it was necessary. So far, it hasn't been necessary, but we have an Insurrection Act for a reason. If I had to enact it, I'd do that. If people were being killed and courts were holding us up, or governors or mayors were holding us up, sure, I'd do that. I mean, I want to make sure that people aren't killed. We have to make sure that our cities are safe.
Storm zone. Yes, sir. I'm wondering what storm you're talking about.
And they have unsuccessfully tried to take down the wrong person.
He's absolutely going to come back with full vengeance the next time around.
Now think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like. Our Constitution really does give the president tremendous power to destroy. This will be something we could never have imagined.
Now the gloves are off.
Some of Trump's close political allies told
working on figuring out the identities of the FBI and DOJ staff and forming lists.
I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and AG in America for their illegal, racist enforcement of the law. The deep state is destroying our nation, but the tables must turn, and we will quickly destroy the deep state. We know where the bodies are buried. There are a lot of people out there that have done some very, very evil things, very bad things, I would say treasonous things against our country. People that have done such harm to our country. I've been looking at them for a long time. He could order the investigation and prosecution of individuals who he sees as enemies. Put them all in jail where they belong. You gotta get tough and smart, and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on. And I will be the one to clean it up. I am your retribution. We will take care of it. We will take care of it.
Hi, folks. Thank you all for joining me tonight. I got a little bit of a late start. I tell you, but some of the nice folks who went by buy me a coffee must have ESP. Because, you know, when you're thinking, oh, man, there's so much going on. What can I do? What can I do? I won't be able to, they perk you right up. I can tell you that. Well, it's a little hard to read the script here, but I will do my best with it. Todd's here. Robin's here. Nice to see you. Tammy's here. Kim. Nice to see you. Robin, thank you for going by. Buy me a coffee. Along with Younger Gang. Wayne, give me a thumbs up. Also went by. I appreciate it. Let's see. Let's see who else is coming in. Miss Mendersu said, oh, dropped a Moab. I got to get my special effects going for Miss Mendersu. Pappy Two Bears, nice to see you. Randy, all right, tomorrow you get to go home. All right. Yeah, I'm so glad to hear that. And Rebecca's here. Kim's here. Let's see, Miss Mendersu. All right, Randy, you keep on trucking, right, gang? Yeah, relearn, that's right. Got to rewire the system. Have a little fuse blow out. You got to wire around it. That's the way you look at it. Excuse me. So, yeah. Yeah, it's tough, but you can do it. You can do it. Cole, nice to see you. All right, we've got the Younger Gang here. And I got to get my special effects wound up. Let's see. Which ones? Well, I vote for Miss Mendersu. I put hearts up. You all know I put hearts up for Miss Mendersu. And all of you. All of you. There we go. They're working now. I just don't want them to go over Kirsten. What's her face there? But I can't help where they show up on the screen. They just show up, and I get me a boom ready to go. Kapow! There you go. And then my fast booms. Kaboom, kaboom, kaboom. So, yeah, this was an important interview. Wouldn't you all say this was an important interview? And Trump handled it just the way he should have handled it. They should have been being talked to like this 10 years ago. You're crooked, you're corrupt, or you're stupid. And, yeah, remember how that ties in to a while back, I don't know, 6 months ago or so, before my friend passed away. I was talking about him when I told that story. He would look at somebody and just say, are you stupid? You know, when you get to a certain point in a conversation or a deal or whatever's going on and their brain's not working, you just verbally give them a upside the head and say, are you stupid? And that's where Trump's at now. You know, he's giving them every chance he can. Hi, Melinda. Nice to see you. I'm just checking to see if there's anybody here, if I got everybody. But anyway, we're going to play some clips from that. Trump is still going on with the posts. And I know there's been action in the Middle East, but I'm not going to jump up and down about it or get upset or get too worked up over it, because they've been doing it for thousands of years. And, I look at it this way. As far as Trump is concerned, you might as well say he's got a Rottweiler in his left hand. He's holding it. And that Rottweiler is growling and it's ready to cut loose. And those mullahs are standing there dealing with him. And he's standing there with that Rottweiler. And all he's got to do is let go, and that Rottweiler is going to be all over him. But you know what he's got in the right hand? He's got a bull mastiff. Okay? That's about twice as big as a Rottweiler and just as worked up. That's the U.S. military, and all he's got to do is let that go at the same time, Either or, left hand, right hand, or both at the same time. That's what they need to be thinking about. That's what the hard heads in the Iranian regime need to be thinking about. What Trump can cut loose if he wants to. So anyway, I'm not too worried about that. There is stuff going on, though. We're going to talk about it. What kind of missiles were going off? And I heard that Israel, around 9:30 Washington time, lobbed some ballistic missiles over in the eastward direction. I mean, where's it going to hit? Who's it going to hit? We don't know. But, with this thing with Kirsten Welker, you see the Mockingbird narrative. I put one of the narratives up that you see her clinging to. And maybe she is just stupid, but somebody is telling her to stick with that narrative. You have no evidence. She said that about the crooked and corrupt stuff. She said that when Trump said your networks know about this criminality, you have no evidence. The elections were stolen, you have no evidence. How many times did she say you have no evidence? How many times did she interrupt him? And the other narrative was about the jobs report, which I closed my last video out with the jobs report. Remember that clip? Hey, yeah, this is super duper, 172,000 jobs. And, when Trump brings it up, he said it was triple what they thought. And she kept repeating a narrative. It was above expectations. Trump was saying, no, it was spectacular. It was above expectations. So somebody is getting in her little pea brain and telling her, you have no evidence. Remember that. That's the narrative. You have no evidence. And it was above expectations. Not a wonderful signal for our economy, not to help the morale of the American people or American businesses to keep on keeping on. Wet blanket. And I'd like to know what she was going to get at with Todd Blanche. How many times did she say, but let's talk about Todd Blanche, Mr. President. But let's talk about Todd Blanche, Mr. President. When he is in the middle of giving her one of the most fantastic slapdowns, public slapdowns, justified slapdown you could get. She kept, let's talk about Todd Blanche. So what was she going to try to do with Todd Blanche? I guess we'll have to wait and see. But you can be assured it's a narrative that's been prepared at the highest levels. But these networks are crumbling. Here's a video, I think this is one, when they announced that idiot being fired at 60 Minutes. The Mr. Egghead talks like he knows it all. Let me see, is this it? It had such an impact. Yeah,
this morning, we want to share with you some news.
Wait a second. It had such an impact. That firing sent so many shockwaves through. The next day, CBS Good Morning or whatever the hell the name of it is, they had to bring it up, put their spin on it. I'll play it for you.
All right, before we get to the news this morning, we want to share with you some news about ourselves and longtime 60 Minutes correspondent Scott Pelley. On Monday, new executive producer Nick Bilton called an all-hands meeting to introduce himself to the staff. That meeting became contentious when Pelley publicly questioned the management decisions regarding the replacement of the former 60 Minutes executive producer Tanya Simon, and publicly criticized the decisions of CBS News management on the future direction of 60 Minutes. According to CBS News management, efforts were made to see if both sides could reach common ground. Pelley met with senior management of CBS News last night, and no agreement could be reached. Pelley was then informed by 60 Minutes executive producer Nick Bilton that CBS News and 60 Minutes would have to part ways with Scott. He was terminated for cause. Scott Pelley released a statement which expressed his, quote, gratitude for the men and women of CBS News who encouraged and enriched my work, very often at the risk of their own lives. Pelley went on to say, I pray for a day when those people and their ideals are honored again, a day when sanity, competence, and courage return. In a letter to the staff, Bilton stated, what I will commit to this is this, by my unyielding support for each of you and the journalism that you do and what we will do together going forward.
Yeah, we know his impact on journalism and this network is undeniable.
Oh, this noble praise for this creep. He's just a creep. Well, I guess he had to take a couple of days to pop some nerve pills and get his head on right. But he came out of the woodwork and gave an interview. And I got two clips from that. He hadn't learned his lesson. He never will. But like I said, they cultivate these people and they start paying them fantastic. I mean, millions of dollars. And they will say whatever they're told to say. And what they hear, if they know it's coming from the mouth of the person writing their check, they will make themselves believe it. Go past their common sense. Here's where I think he says he didn't have any idea he was going to get fired. I'm not sure. I got two clips. Let's listen to him right here. Yeah, look at him. Remember how I said look at their facial features? Even though to make up the lighting and all that stuff, he looks like he's been on a long drunk. I'm telling you, I know what I'm looking at. This is a guy who's been rattled to his core. And it's sending a signal to all of them, including Kristen Welker, okay?
What was the feeling about that particular opening salvo to the team?
She, I am told, said something to the effect of, why do you think the country thinks you're biased? But she didn't offer any kind of a metric. You know, what's your metric? Why do you think so? Do you have a poll? Is there market research? What are you talking about? Because we certainly didn't believe.
Oh, that's a clip where he said, we don't feel we're biased. I played you that clip where he, in my opinion, libeled Trump, slandered Trump, slurs, insinuations, belittling the president of the United States with his galactic brain, supposedly. So, yeah, you were biased, you idiot. Crack open the top of a bottle of bourbon and keep on chugging until you wake up to the answers, okay? Now, here's where he said, I think he's saying, I didn't think I was going to get fired. Well, he's got that look in his eyes like, I don't know, nerve pills, nerve pills. Get the shakes out.
You then do have a meeting with CBS leadership after this very contentious interaction. Can you tell me about that meeting and if you were at that point going in expecting to be fired?
Oh, gosh, furthest thing from my mind. It hadn't occurred to me.
But it really didn't occur to you that you could be fired after so many of your colleagues had been let go, after you'd had this, very contentious interaction with your new boss?
You know, some reporter I turned out to be. I just didn't connect the dots.
You got that right, buddy. You got that right. Some reporter I turned out to be, I just had it was the furthest thing from his mind. And they live in a bubble. They live in a delusional bubble, and it's been popped big time. And you can tell by how much he leaves his mouth open, his blink rate going real fast, all kinds of things where he is not the polished, I know all, you know nothing, arrogant bastardo that he is on every broadcast. Right now, he's a broken little twerp. And I love it. I love watching it. As many evenings as he's made miserable for people, as many families as he's divided, as many children who were psychologically abused because he was upholding this maniacal so-called philosophy of transgenderism. Go right on down the line. People sitting in a jail cell night after night after night after night who never broke the law in their lives. All that stuff being supported by these rat bastards. Yeah, so I'm glad you look miserable. I'm glad you need a drink, okay? Just like John Cornyn, all of you. So anyway. Hi, Roland. How you doing? Nice to see you. Yeah, I don't have Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude, I think, is not a good feeling to have. To never enjoy someone else's suffering, but you can appreciate when someone is getting justice. Okay, and justice is coming. And I was going through a bunch of old photos. I'll go through them later on in the broadcast, but. One thing Trump said, which I'll play it, we got to get rid of this corrupt media. You can't have a successful nation with a corrupt media. But anyway, there were some stable moments to the broadcast, to the interview, and we'll play them. Let's take them one at a time. And then I'll play the Big Daddy from Cincinnati part, okay? So anyway, here she is with her narrative and her poison darts, not questions, poison darts.
How close are you to making a deal? Are we talking about days, weeks, months, Mr. President?
I think we're very close. We have a couple of points. They don't even seem like big points. They've conceded the fact that they will not have nuclear weapons. We had a clause in there that we will not develop nuclear weapons, and everybody was very happy with it except me. And I said, well, what happens if they not develop, but they go out and purchase, they acquire? I want to put the word, if they buy or purchase or acquire, you've got to have that in there too, because that's not developing. So they don't have the right to develop or purchase, acquire, or buy.
Have they pushed back against that? Is that one of the sticking points?
A little bit, and then they didn't.
Now, the only fault I could see, not fault, but the only thing I could detect was she was trying to pin him down a time frame. I mean, what kind of dopey question? When do you think they're going to surrender? Days, weeks, months? When do you think the deal's going to get done? I mean, that's an idiotic question. And of course, if he fell for that, Trump promised it would be over in 30 days, and here we are on day 41. So they're constantly searching for something to trip him up on. But he told it like it was. And did they push back on that? Of course they push back on everything, you nitwit. But anyway, here's Trump again.
I just won a big election. And the reason I won an election is people have confidence in me. I have good judgment. I had to make a judgment. Do I want to go along and have a country that's doing really well, but somebody is going to try and kill us? Or do I want to put out that horrible threat? And I did. I put it out. I put it out for many, many years. Now I'm going to put it out permanently. I'm going to do it either through negotiation, where we're very close to a deal, or I'm going to blow the hell out of them, to be honest with you. And it's going to be very easy for me to do. That's actually the easier path. So when you say I promised, I didn't promise anything. I don't like these endless wars. This is not an endless war. We've been doing this for 3 months. Much of it has been under the form, a pretty good form of ceasefire. The blockade has been amazing. Our Navy is amazing. Our military is the best in the world. Hey, we took over a very powerful country, Venezuela, a lot of soldiers, big, strong military. We took over Venezuela in a matter of minutes. We destroyed the capability of Iran in a matter of days. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Now I'm going to finish.
Now I'm going to finish it. And I, if I'm not mistaken, I heard him say, I didn't break any promises. So she probably prefaced the question, you said you were not going to have any wars. Why did you start this war? And he laid it out there. You know, I want a safe country. In other words, these people are lunatics and they need to be dealt with now, not later. Not after they've destroyed cities or hundreds of thousands of lives disintegrate, then do something about it. No, we're taking care of it now. This is a short clip. Let me see what it is. I don't know. Let me see.
You got a strong jobs report today that beat expectations.
Not strong. Really strong.
Beat expectations.
By how much? Triple.
170,000 jobs created.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. It's hard to hear because of the rain. Look at the look on his face where he's looking at her like, you idiot. It's where she said, where he says, no. Very strong. A very strong jobs report. Well, it was above expectations.
You got a strong jobs report today that beat expectations.
Not strong. Really strong.
Beat expectations.
By how much? Triple.
170,000 jobs created.
Above expectations. He said, by how much? Triple. You know, and she said, above expectations. Again, pushing that narrative, Mockingbird media narrative. Here we go again. What's this clip? What's this? Well, Kirsten, what do you got in your little notebook there? Your little white notebook? Probably got the sickle and hammer on there somewhere, or the Red Star of China.
After this month's jobs report, economists now say it's possible the Fed may have to raise rates. Do you think that's possible, and what would your reaction be, sir?
So I'm of a different feeling. I think Kevin's fantastic, and I want him to do whatever he wants. I don't want to have a big influence on him. But we had a great report. We're doing great. And it's unfair that whenever you do great, they want to raise interest rates. It should be the opposite way. You know, if you go back 15 or 20 years, when you had good reports, the market went up. Nowadays, when you have good reports, the market goes down because they think they're going to raise interest rates. There's no reason to raise interest rates. The country becomes great. We built the country by doing great and having rates low. What they do is when they raise interest rates, they try and kill success. I don't want to kill success. We should actually lower interest rates. Now, if inflation comes, and you know, people live with inflation, but if inflation comes, what happens is you stamp it out. But success can kill inflation just like higher interest rates. What they do now is, like, we had great job numbers. You agree, right?
They beat expectations.
Not expectations, like 3 times. Okay, but you ready? What do? They say, oh, let's raise interest rates. It's the wrong thing to do. I would like to see rates get lower because we could build this into the greatest machine that the world has ever seen. But you can't do that when everybody immediately raises interest rates. So we had great job numbers. We're doing great. You know, we're building more factories. We have more money coming into our country right now from other countries and people than ever before. Wait a minute. What happens? I don't want to just kill it with high interest rates. Growth is the greatest thing you can have. And growth does not cause... You heard her again. Above expectations again. But Trump is right. As soon as the economy starts doing good, people are feeling good, making money, they want to raise the rates and send more money to the central banks, the Federal Reserve, over to Europe. Oh, you're making money? Well, we'll just take more, okay? And calm you down. We don't want you getting too uppity,
we don't want you having too much happiness out of life. No, we can't have that. So anyway, then it gets down to the nitty gritty, where she has got to get to her, what I think was her core point, to get Todd Blanche tied in there in some way, shape, or form with a prepared narrative. They were loaded for bear at Pam Bondi, okay, and the target moved out, gone, new one, ha ha. Pam Bondi says, well, the Epstein stuff's with Todd Blanche, and I'm out of here. So everything they worked on to go after Pam Bondi about, what are they going to do? Okay, they got to start from scratch. So I'm sure they had something ready for Todd Blanche. But anyway, this is the one where he gets into all the lies and her constant answer, which has been rebutted by normal people, the real media, which is us, you, me, everybody out there. Well, no evidence was presented in court because judges kept throwing things out. Nobody got a chance to be heard. Rudy Giuliani got attacked. He had evidence. He had affidavits. He had proof. He had bank accounts and money trails from Luxembourg right into Joe Biden's bank account for what was going on in Ukraine. On and on and on. And they ignore it. They have the power to ignore. And somebody's got these judges that keep throwing things out left and right. And if they're not doing that, they are overly harshly punishing and helping to frame innocent people and destroy the lives of innocent people to keep up with a narrative. And they know it. You'll hear Trump say the networks know. They know it, and they're involved, okay? They're part of it.
What they did to the lives of people, they destroyed people. They sent people to jail who did nothing wrong.
All right, just to be very clear, there's no evidence of what you're saying. But let me ask you about Todd Blanche. Let me ask you about Todd Blanche.
Listen to me.
Let's talk about Todd Blanche.
There's tremendous evidence. There's nothing but evidence. The election was rigged. It was a dirty election. And it's happening again right now in California.
You've never presented evidence.
It's happening right now in California. Right now, it's look at what's happening in California.
To that?
It's
the
4 days.
Republicans are doing well in
California. No, they're not. They're dropping fast because it's a rigged election. Let me tell you, it's 4 days, and they aren't even close to coming up with it.
That's how they count the votes in California.
You know why they're doing that? Because they're cheating on the election.
Do you have evidence to support
all
that?
I have to do is look. All I have to do is look.
That's not evidence.
And I listen to people, and let's see what happens.
But, sir, that's not evidence.
Do you think it's appropriate?
That's how they count the votes in California.
Do you think it's appropriate that they have an election, and 5 days later they're nowhere close to picking a winner?
State and local officials acknowledge they are slow. They're urging.
No, they're crooked.
They're urging the votes to be counted quickly. That's how they vote in California.
They're crooked, just like you're crooked. Your press is crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked.
To be fair, I'm not crooked, but let's...
Really?
Will
you play right into their hands?
Did you hear that? Well, that's the way they count votes in California. That's just the way they do it. And Trump said, well, I should, let me see if I can bop this back a little bit. Here we go. There we go. There we go. Sorry about that. Let me cut my mic off. It's just the way they count votes.
Crooked.
They're urging the votes to be counted quickly. That's how they vote in California.
They're crooked, just like you're crooked. Your press is crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked.
To be fair, I'm not crooked, but let's
Really?
Let's
Well,
continue.
you play right into their hands.
Let's continue.
You're either crooked or you're stupid. You play right into their hands with this rap. You know that these elections are rigged. Your network knows that they're rigged. You know that I won an election in a landslide, and I got 94% bad press.
But, Mr. President,
you know why I got that? Because you have no credibility.
But you've never presented evidence that it was rigged. Let's keep talking about, I want to talk about Todd Blanche.
You have more evidence. There's more evidence than ever presented.
Let's talk about...
Your elections in this country, we're like a third world country.
But, sir,
your elections are crooked, and you're crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked.
But, Mr.
And so is ABC, and CBS, and CNN.
But, Mr. President...
You're one-sided crooked networks. All right, let's let's call it quits because I've had enough. Thank you, darling. Have a good time.
Mr. President, let's please. I traveled all the way to Wisconsin.
I've sat in the rain with you.
I know.
I've sat in the rain with you for an hour, on and off in the rain, and I've given you enough time. You ought to straighten out your press because you know what?
Mr. President,
a country can never be great with a dishonest press.
We traveled all the way to Wisconsin for this interview. I spoke with President Trump on Saturday, and we both acknowledged the complications during the interview posed by the rain.
Ha ha ha! Posed by the rain. Yeah, the storm's coming, lady. All right? Just remember your friend I just played the video of. Looking like he needs a damn drink. That's the way you're going to be looking. All right? You're getting paid big money. All right? And that's going to come to an end. You're awful. You're disgusting. And yes, we have evidence of that. Okay? We just played it. Hi, Judy. How you doing? Yeah, I noticed they look like they're in a barn. It reminded me of the interviews they used to do with Devin Nunes. Devin Nunes. And he put up a post. I might have it in here. But remember, Devin Nunes might be activated. All right? We got to keep an eye out for it. Look at this kind of trash that they put out. They're coordinated. Coordinated trash. Midas Trash Network. Look at this thumbnail. Legal death spiral accelerates. Trump can't escape his legal death spiral. What the hell are these people talking about? Hi, Jerry. But you see how they put that term in there? They have to put violence or images of violence or violent words in there. Oh, but it's the legal part. We're not talking about him physically. So what garbage? And more garbage. This character here, I told you how he looked like he'd been a long drunk for a while there. Now he's growing out a beard. Brian Tyler Cohen. All right. He was teamed up with Glenn Kirshner. Both of them look like they've been laying behind a dumpster for a week. And they started putting up videos where they had to give each other moral support. But who knows what's going on or making them their brains. But according to him, Trump adds Brian Tyler Cohen to official enemies list. Nobody added you nothing, okay? You joined. You joined the opposition, okay? You joined the subversives. Nobody had to add you to a list. We saw you join. So, yeah. I think you're worried, a hell of a lot more worried about Trump than Trump's worried about you, buddy. You can believe that. Their day with the legal system, it's coming. It's coming. Here's another one. CNN. What are they doing? What's CNN doing? They're talking to this maniac. A maniac over in Iran. They physically go over there and sit down and give an interview. Top Iranian official. Trump and Iran's supreme leader will not meet. And it's all, there's no translation. You got to read the small print. But, what the hell are you even doing over there? And in an exclusive interview with Tehran, CNN's Fred Pleitogin, whatever the hell his name is, sits down with this creep, the senior military advisor to Iran's supreme leader. I hope he put a tracking device on you somewhere. The supreme leader, who had not been seen in public since his appointment, we saw a cardboard cutout, is known to have a small circle of trusted aides around him. General Rezai is in that circle. The advisor shot down the possibility of a meeting between President Donald Trump and Ayatollah Mojtaba Khamenei. He also said that a potential U.S.-Iran deal hinges on the Trump administration agreeing to release $24 billion in frozen assets. Well, you didn't have to go all the way over there. We've been hearing their propaganda. But you had to have a personal meeting. Well, maybe it was for, I'll give him a benefit of a doubt. Okay? Maybe. It was to help with intelligence. But I doubt it. I think it's to assist the enemy. Assist the enemy. But Trump was putting out pictures like this. Here we go. Whoa. What happened? What happened to my... There we go. There it is. He put up this yesterday where he's looking at helicopters. He's keeping them all guessing what he's going to do. He put out this for a judge to think about right here. This will someday save Washington. Judge Leon has to get out of the way and fast. Capital letters, fast. He's putting our country in danger. Drone port. Now that's serious talk. He's saying that not for nothing. Not for nothing. That judge better wake the hell up. We just got to get rid of him. We can't have judges like this. We can't have judges like this. I'll show you some of the stuff that was popping up on my media narrative. Where they're constantly working against Trump. Unsolicited notification. AP News, Associated Press. Let's see, who's that? Oh, it wouldn't surprise me. Would it be Telegraph? Would it be BBC? Would it be NPR? Would it be all these progressive New World Order so-called press people? Judge halts administration efforts to impose conditions on SNAP. Here we go. Here we go. Anybody with a sob story, anybody with a whatever ails them, we'll just keep feeding them. And how many billions have we traced? That it's all the money's according to this judge. We got to keep paying it. Because it'd be like that one that I showed in the interview at the beginning of the live stream. Oh, you almost made me cry. The way you're picking on immigrants, the way you pick on the needy, it almost makes me cry. Well, we don't need judges that feel like crying. And how many months is this going to hold things up? How many billions are we going to have to keep shelling out to people that are perfectly able to go out and get their own damn food? Or people that are getting money that have no damn business getting it because of some planted judge? Here we go. So another one popped up on my feed. The Supreme Court has left limited alternatives for protecting minority voting rights. Did you see who wrote the article? NPR. They shouldn't even be in business. National Public Radio. It's nothing but a mouthpiece for the left. And this isn't supposed to be news. This is an opinion. Left limited alternatives for protecting minority voting rights. Talk about misinformation and disinformation. The Supreme Court said you cannot use race when you're forming districts. You can't be racist. Oh, but that's not protecting minorities. You think the average black person wants people like Ketanji Brown Jackson running their lives? I'd say no. You got plenty of conservative black people, plenty of people that believe in the word, the book, go to church, and they don't want their kids transition. They don't want their kids being involved in all this. They call it woke. I forget that. It's not woke. It's satanic. Okay. So NPR, courtesy of Google, gets their gets their opinion paid for by you and me and broadcast out there, amplified by DARPA, DARPA, that's run by CHYNA, which is called Google, right? So, let's just say a couple of examples. I got another one in here floating around somewhere where they're constantly throwing monkey wrenches into things, and it's coordinated. I played that clip of where Trump said, well, if I got to do the Insurrection Act, it's there for a reason. It's there for a reason. And I pulled this up. I got it way back in January. Christian Welker, all these creepos, United States Code, 2024 edition, Title 10, Armed Forces, Chapter 13, Insurrection. What does it say? The president, by using the militia or the armed forces, or both, or by any other means, he could deputize people. Any other means, he shall take such measures as he considers necessary. Letters of marque, or whatever. To suppress in a state any insurrection, domestic violence, unlawful combination, here's the key word, or conspiracy. Keep that in mind when he said the networks know it. They know what they're doing. They're coordinated. They're confederates. They're conspiring. If it so hinders the execution of the laws. And I'll leave this. You can get a screenshot of it. And we're getting there. But I believe what he's going to deal with is the network executives and producers. And people like Christian Welker, they can just die on the vine or get canned. Donnie Deutsch. How many of you remember this guy? He's another one, a has-been. Donnie Deutsch wants President Trump and Mom Dami to stay away from the Knicks games next week. Well, people have been looking forward, not to Mom Dami, but for Trump to show up. But what's it to you, Donnie Deutsch? Who are you and what are you doing nowadays? We all get some age on us. We all get some mileage. I said before, I got a face like a road map. But I tell you what, I still say that these people, I said about Matt Taibbi, when he was testifying in front of Congress, and they raided his home, the IRS raided his home while he was testifying to Congress about how crooked the government was, that he had changed for the better. He looked like he had less stress in his life. He looked like he doesn't get up angry every morning or go to bed angry every morning like a liberal does. It improved his life. The light cutting on in his head. Well, it's the opposite with people like Donnie Deutsch, He looks like he's been rode hard, put away with. And what the hell do you care if Trump goes to the Knicks game or not? What's it to you?
I think I speak for all New Yorkers when I say to Mayor Mandami and President Trump, stay away from the Knicks games next week. Do not come to Madison Square Garden. We don't want you. This is a moment in time that New York is coming together. No matter which side of the aisle you're on, you divide New York. And New York has been magical with this team. There is something going on here. Everywhere you go, people are high-fiving. I don't want to hear cheers or boos for Trump. I don't want to hear cheers or boos for Mandami. I want to focus on Brunson. I want to focus on Towns. I want to focus on Shamet. I want to focus on OG. I want to focus on Hart. I want to focus on booing the Spurs. Although it's a likable team, you're not getting in our way. This is a time for us to be together. And you guys fucking divide. And just give us this moment. Let us have this moment. I'm speaking on behalf of all New Yorkers. Stay away from the Garden. Let us have it.
Go to hell. How about that? It's an honor to have the President of the United States show up in an event. And people will love it. And that's what you don't want the world to see. So we're on to you, you creep. Speaking of the appearance of somebody, Trump put this up. And he put a question mark there. She, question mark, is obsessed. This is Trump post. I thought it was Maggie Haberman. Don't forget, she's going to pop up in the news. Right? New York Times, Maggie Haberman. But no, it's not. It's Rosie O'Donnell. And Trump put this up, it's got to burn her up. And I tell you what, she spent money, like I was joking around, for 2 cranes to get a facelift, or maybe 3. And I don't, as long as she's got that hatred and that attitude, it ain't gonna help you. It ain't gonna help you, woman. You could get an iron and iron your face. You can do many, many things. But if you've got a hardened heart and a miserable, exuding misery and anger, you'll always be hideous looking. Always. But anyway, Trump put this up. Just sit back and relax. It will all work out in the end. It always does. All right. I was thinking maybe putting that up for a thumbnail. But, Kirsten Walker, and I wanted to get to a good freeze frame there. It was that was right when Trump swatted his hand down there, like, get out of here. Did y'all notice him do that? And that is a strong body language. It's like, get away from me, P.U. But anyway, just sit back and relax. It will all work out well in the end. It always does. So, yeah, I'm down with that. I'm down with that. This one, too, he reposted this. Patriotic summer. This is the White House. The White House. A patriotic summer. I want to go up to D.C. and see all those beautiful sights instead of it being a filthy, stinking, crime-ridden dump. Here's their next narrative, folks, right here. This popped up on my phone twice, yesterday and today. Of course, the one I showed you, judge strikes down immigration policy. I'll show you that in a minute. Disputes over Trump's Capitol renovations. It just says Google. It doesn't have any article name, and I'm supposed to click on it and read it, but I know what it is. They're preparing the narrative, folks. Disputes over Trump's Capitol renovations. Critics link White House ballroom donors to $50 billion in federal contracts. You get what they're doing? What they're trying to do? They're trying to say Trump is doing pay to play. Okay? My question to these idiots, or everybody, including the people working for Google, all the media people that are employed, all the government employees that are part of the so-called resistance, all the people protesting out in the streets, how much money do they get from the federal government, directly and indirectly, through NGOs, through USAID? We're talking, as we already know, trillions of dollars over time. Trump said if we got rid of the fraud, we'd get rid of the national debt. That is trillions of dollars. And, a White House ballroom donor gets a contract? You mean like the guys that did the reflection pool for 20% of what was being proposed and actually got something done that works after billions have been spent for over 100 years that never worked? You mean people like that? You mean capable, competent people that provide a service are getting contracts instead of the ones that get paid just to raise hell and run their mouths? We need to do a study on that, and I want my damn reparations. I want my reparations. Where's that one article I found? Or a tweet somebody put out? What was going on? Right here. Get a load of this. People forgot about this. Oh, wait a minute. Well, it's close enough. I'll get it up in a minute. But this is another one. The entire Democrat Party ceases to exist without taxpayer money, election fraud, and the mass importation of foreigners. It is a 20% party without those things. Understand that, and you'll understand why they fight so hard for those things. Their entire existence is on the line. But there's one where Congress passed. Here it is. How many people know this? Mike Lee posted this back in January or February. Congress should be passing the SAVE Act to stop non-citizens from voting, not paying leftists to lobby against it. I just showed you that article where they said, oh, Trump donors are getting federal contracts. Well, what are these people doing to get federal money? The Labor, Health and Human Services spending bill advanced by the Senate Appropriations Committee contains an earmark giving $500,000 to leftists, falsely claiming the SAVE Act would, quote, disenfranchise millions of Americans. They actually appropriated money for people to go out and run their mouth. Paid false propaganda. Here's something I found from back in January too. And I found others making me think the Midas Trash Network is getting their cage rattled. Somebody named Patty put up, why did YouTube pull the video regarding Fox meltdown? I was watching it and very quickly it stated the video was not available. Is somebody giving them a hard way to go? Somebody's paying attention to this stuff they're putting out? Oh, they walk a fine line. They walk a fine line. And, here's what a lot of people don't know. Why people like Kirsten Welker can ignore truth. Okay? Here's where Congress gave the press and attorneys and judges a pass on valid, open information that was being posted by the 17th letter. House Resolution 1154, condemning QAnon and rejecting the conspiracy theories it promotes. Conspiracy theories? News articles? Bank accounts? Open source information? None of it false? But you notice how they put the anon after that. Representative Tom Malinowski, Democrat from where? New Jersey. He's the one that put it up there. So according to Kirsten Welker and all these other, it's all conspiracy. That's why you have no evidence. They finance people to go out and prattle about their political viewpoints, finance propaganda, and they also pass something condemning something they didn't want to know anything about. And Epstein was in there years ago. But anyway, I pulled this one up from back in January. The J6 scam in one photo. Trump has been hitting hard on it. I played 2 videos just tonight, that where Trump mentioned how these people have been so terribly treated by our judicial system, so-called judicial system. Yeah, Todd, they got to add that anon on there. Hi, Jerry. Looks great. I'm just seeing. Anybody else come in I might have missed? Yeah, well, they pulled the page out of the mafia books. But anyway, this is one I wanted to put up early and I forgot. Don't say anything. Don't say anything to anybody. But underneath that wrap around her head, that's really her head. That she's an alien and she's got a big deformed head under there. But anyway, when you see your judge and you're about to go to prison for being white, hey, we have got a lot of cleaning out to do. And if anybody, the Constitution says what it says. Like Antonin Scalia said, it says what it says. And if you are believe in Sharia law, okay, or Islamic law, it's incompatible with the Constitution, just like communist philosophy. It's incompatible. You cannot swear that you're upholding the Constitution and practice either of those two, be involved in either of those two practices, right? So they got to go. They got to go. Quit farting around. Hi, Sandman. How you doing? Let's see. What else have I got here? I don't want to play anything. I got to play some stuff that's protesters and crap like that, and missiles going off. But I'll take a little break from that and say, put this up. AC-132. Now, here's one. People have been asking me about that song. And I've had a number of broadcasts where I said, I don't know. I don't know. And I really don't want to know. The song I play, that's Game Over. I got that off of Telegram once again. I think this is like the fourth time. And it was being passed around. It's just kind of like a fun thing being passed around. I want to have fun with it. Didn't give a credit to anybody. And I don't want to get a copyright wrong. I'll put it a copy wrong instead of a copyright. I don't want to get anything like that on the channel. I might have to go back and clean out all those songs. I don't know. I'm trying to do it on the down low. And people can look it up. I mean, Google it, But somebody put in the chat's a name, and I can't remember what it was. But anyway, that's starting to worry me now because I got it on like 20 videos. And if it turns out to be a problem, I have to go back and manually remove those songs. So I'm going to have to either just not play it anymore or do it once a month or something like that. But this one, it's AC-132, and Trump put this up. I'm proud to be endorsed by President Trump, who I wrote this song about. Well, I can't find it either, Tammy. I didn't send my first email till I was in my mid-50s. I was never on the internet. I don't know a damn thing about it. I don't want to know. Well, every time I find something new on the internet, it's repugnant, and it upsets me that we've got these young people out here, 8, 9 years old, getting these phones put in their hands, and it's just a gateway to smut and filth. And I don't want to know about the internet. Oh, thank you, Tammy. Yeah, I can't find anything about it. But with the stuff that goes on, you wonder, because you get stuff from Telegram channels. You never know where they're coming from. I watch the times they post, and if if it's the middle of the night, like 3, 4 in the morning, it's something overseas. You always got to be careful. Because I told y'all how my phone one time had like dozens of these videos of people getting beheaded, and the video of Bolsonaro's head being used as a soccer ball and stuff like that. You know, so I'm real careful about who I click on now. And I was thinking, man, what if the thing? Remember the fish general from Star Wars? It's a trap. You know, could it be a trap where also you do like 20 videos and all of a sudden they go, ha ha, you got to take it down because you're copyright. You know, but that's going overboard. But anyway, we'll figure it out down the line. I'll squeeze it in here and there. But anyway, it's harder and harder to do things on the down low on the internet, especially with AI. They can pull up your words. They have programs that can take every one of my videos. They put in a couple of keywords, and they can find the minute and hour, the exact time they can get a clip of words I said. You know, just like in a snap of a finger. So it's exciting in a way and it's worrisome in a way. But anyway, let's have a little fun with this song. This guy, Trump put this up, and Trump likes it, and this guy likes it, so I go ahead and play it.
Trump, 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 Trump. Everywhere I go, they love Donald, Donald Trump. Down in Mexico, they love Donald, Donald Trump. Flew to Italy, they love Donald, Donald Trump. In the Middle East, they love Donald, Donald Trump. Men, some Africans, they love Donald, Donald Trump. Even in China, they love Donald, Donald Trump. Man, these Indians, they love Donald, Donald Trump. Trump, 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 Trump. Everywhere I go, they love Donald, Donald Trump. Trump, 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 Trump. Everywhere I go, they love Donald, Donald Trump. Man, I gotta say, I love Donald, Donald Trump. Might be president one day, just like Donald, Donald Trump. Just like Donald Trump.
Ha ha, there was a Mount Rushmore at the end. They like them in China. They like them all over the place. So anyway, you can see why Trump liked putting that up. But I tell you, what a fun time we would be having if it wasn't for all these maniacal lefties. Oh, okay. All right, Todd. Yeah, that would work. Somebody put in a name about 2 weeks ago, and I didn't write it down. It was like a strange name. And who knows, Who knows? I was like, man, I wonder if I get in trouble for that. But I ain't gonna worry about it. I've been in trouble before. I just don't need to look for it. Who needs to look for trouble, right? So anyway, there's a judge messing around with Trump on deportations again, and they're really in a mechanism to get them when they go against the Supreme Court. Is this it? Let me see. Yeah. Another thing popped up on my notifications, and this is from the Washington Post. Chief U.S. District Judge John McConnell in Rhode Island, struck down a Trump administration policy that blocked immigrants from 39 countries from receiving decisions on their legal applications. What the hell does that mean? I can guarantee you it holds up Trump. Invalidated the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Service freeze, calling it contrary to law and arbitrary and capricious. So it's another judge screwing with the State Department and trying to keep this country infested with illegal aliens. And they're going to work hand in hand with these rhinos to do a mass amnesty. You watch it. Yes, Miss Menderson, she put because I put in, and I forgot, because I was going Trump, Donald Trump, a link to buy me a coffee, and I want to thank Robin. Ha ha! And she's in the chats right now. Kaboom! Along with Wayne, he's in the chats too. Kaboom! And Mike and Bev, who I'm sure are watching on the big screen. Kabow! Kabow! Norm, who started off the week with a kaboom right there. And Younger Gang. Ha ha! Boom! And I can't forget. Let me tell you, Gary, speaking of Moabs, Miss Menderson, I got to give her a lot of pow, pow, pow for her Moabs. Gary came by and left a couple of Moabs. So I want to put some hearts up for Miss Menderson and Gary. And I couldn't believe it. I mean, it's like, oh, man, you're like, oh, I can't do it today. I got to, oh, my goodness. And then you go, holy cow, I got to do something. People are going to buy me a coffee, and it spurs me on. So anyway, we got to get down to some of the stuff that we don't like talking about. The creepos. The creepos in all around the world, really. Yeah, but in New Jersey. And, a lot of people were posting about Nick Shirley. He's not a creepo, but the creepo that was threatening him. A lot of stuff came up. Nick Shirley was reposting that. Dr. Chloe Carmichael. The police literally looking the other way, and somebody in the chat caught that when I played that video. See what he's doing? He's pointing at his neck, about like Charlie Kirk. These people are sick. I want to know what's this guy costing us? Because he ain't working a job. Police literally looking the other way, and this guy was shouting the threat loudly while making this gesture. And he put up this. Someone will find you signals. G-U-N to the head. No, I think he was pointing at the neck. He was doing the Charlie Kirk thing that sickos do. The sicko point. And it caught so much attention. Even James Wood put up something about it. James Woods, we all know him. This is one American who genuinely needs our support. It's appalling that we don't have an army of investigators doing what he's doing single-handedly. But citizen warriors have always saved this country. While our government does what governments do, nothing. Donate. So he's talking about donating to Nick Shirley's is it a GoFundMe? I'm pretty sure it is. Or Give, Send, Go. I don't know. But I'll find out. Here, who is this guy? This guy, what are you going to do with this guy? He said, oh, you ask anybody about me on the left organizations, they know who I am. Look at that poor dog. All dogs want to do is be your friend, be there for you. I had a friend of mine who told me once, you take your wife, stuff her in the trunk of a car. You take your dog, stuff her in the trunk of a car. When you come back 5 hours later and open the trunk, guess who's happy to see you? So anyway, this is the deranged retard who threatened Nick Shirley. I can't imagine the horrors that poor dog has endured and the depravity that he has seen behind closed doors. Oh my God. These leftist psychos need to be confined to an asylum. By somebody called a retard finder. Yeah. Yeah, they do. What do you do for a living, mister? What's your profession? What's this now? Newsmax. President Donald Trump said Friday that Iran's leaders have not yet agreed to a deal to end the war with the United States because they're strong and they're proud. This is Newsmax. But predicted Tehran will ultimately come to terms because they've got no choice. And it's true. And you know what? Neither does anybody else. Because like I said, and Trump has said, I've repeated what Trump has said, we don't need that damn oil. And like my father used to say, I don't care who owns that sand over there. So he's getting the training wheels on with Europe. You all better get your act together and figure out how to handle your problems in your hemisphere. We're going to be taking care of our problems in our hemisphere. Here's Pete Hegseth giving an address over there. Because it was D-Day, June 6th. D-Day. Yesterday. And he went over there and he's telling them. What have we said many times? Eternal vigilance is the price of freedom. You got to constantly be on your toes and on the lookout. And every now and then, you got to move your arms and legs and you got to raise hell and you got to fight back. You can't go to sleep and switch because they will steal from you. They will steal your peace of mind, your way of life, your money, your treasure, destroy your families. That's what conquerors do.
America will lead, and we must. But capable allies must be right there with us, shoulder to shoulder, in the breach, when it matters. In the years since these beaches, much of the West, in some places, in some quarters, and in some capitals, grew comfortable, we forgot that freedom is not free. We forgot that peace is not wished into being. It is bought with purpose, with honor, and with strength. The men who landed on these beaches knew this. The question we ask ourselves is, do we? It's past time we remember what they knew. Their legacy demands far more than quiet reflection. It requires our active vigilance. Sadly, today, different European beaches are stormed by different dangerous ideologies. Beaches in Spain, in Italy, in Greece, and Bulgaria. Boats and men arrive. When will European capitals do something about that invasion? Or is it too late? I pray not, and I believe not. The men who fought and died here restored freedom to Europe. That freedom must be maintained by this generation of leaders and warfighters, or what they fought for was merely temporary. As our great President Ronald Reagan once said, freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. You don't pass it to the next generation in the bloodstream. It must be defended by each and every generation. We stand by our allies, and we expect our allies capable and ready to stand alongside us. The heroes of 1944 did that, and may we.
We expect our allies to be capable. We're not going to go over there and powder your rear ends. And yes, there is ideologies storming your beaches. Well, we can't talk that much either. They're storming ours, but we're going to be taking care of it. There you see Donald J. Trump hugging the flag. Isn't that a nice picture? There you go. There you go. We need to boost our morale here at home. We need to be proud of our nation. How you doing, Stanton? Nice to see you. Here's one Trump put up of the Obama Library. Barack Hussein Obama. Have you heard of him? Library in 10 years when fully matured. A dumpster, a trash pail with a bunch of homeless people around it in Chicago. That title in town, it's smack on a town. Oh, This was yesterday. Before I get into the losers around the world, here we go. Kash Patel, what'd he do? Major milestone in fight against child predators. Alleged abuse, 2,900 arrested. How many sites did they close down? How many accounts did they close down? Like 3 million? And they arrested 2,900? 7,000 missing children located.
How did you do this?
Well, Kaylee, as you know so well, and as you advocate so much for our youth, they're our most precious treasure. And we made it a priority to go after the villains and the terrorists and gangbangers that are targeting our kids. And what we did was we utilized intelligence-driven operations. We took 1,500 employees from the FBI in D.C. and put them in the field permanently, working with our state and local law enforcement partners. And we went after the worst of the worst. And those stats, while those stats are meaningful, and those stats are truly historic, just think about the 7,200 kids that we found that got to go home. Just think about the 3,400, actually, when you take the numbers for this year, we're at 3,400 child predators and traffickers arrested. That's up 99% from the best year Biden ever had. That means kids are being protected at levels that are simply unheard of. And that means this FBI, here's another thing. We didn't just do the physical work on the streets. We went to the cyber community and we dismantled 3 million pedophile accounts off the Tor network where these predators prey on our children and think they can hide from this FBI. They can't. We are going to the ends of the earth and the cyber realm to make sure our most precious commodity, kids, are safeguarded. And the numbers speak for themselves because the FBI are putting kids first.
Yeah, I call them our diamonds. That's what they are. And I want to ask you about this. There was a
Our diamonds, she said. Our diamonds. Well, 3 million accounts, man. We got to build a lot of CCOTs up there in Greenland. So anyway, here is Spencer Pratt put this up. They're cheating like gangbusters in California. Anybody that can't see it is a damn idiot. Or part of the conspiracy. Me trying to figure out how votes get counted in LA. It's like Kirsten said. Kristen Welker, is that her name? That's just the way they do it in California. They're trying their best. It's just they're stupid in California. Oh, here's Scott Jennings. What's he talking about? Plattner campaign rocked by allegations of past bad behavior. What's he doing right now? Probably just as bad as what he's being accused of.
Well, as far as I know, of all the names you just mentioned, only one person had a Nazi tattoo and has chosen to lie about it, and that's Graham Plattner. I mean, he roots for American military deaths. He's mocking rape victims. He demeans rural Americans. He's been abusive to women. I mean, this is what Democrats are signing off on. This is their most celebrated Senate candidate in the country right now. And in fact, his campaign was bragging that after all of these things came out, he raised $200,000 online. You have Democrats across the country investing in Nazi tattoo, abusive to women guy. I mean, that's what the Democrats are signing off on. That's what they're lining up for. You see pictures on the screen right now of Ro Khanna. Ro Khanna was out there believing everything that was ever said, every false narrative about Brett Kavanaugh. And now he's arm in arm with a guy who's clearly abusive to women. I mean, this is the most insane amount of hypocrisy in the pursuit of political power. Some Democrats have said, I'm not comfortable with this. I suspect a few more will come. They had a perfectly viable candidate up there in Janet Mills, but they decided to go with this, scumbag, fake oyster farmer, Nazi tattoo guy instead. It's crazy. No, I'm not licking my chops at this. I'm weeping. We need a Democratic Party that can stand up to people like this, not promote them.
They're all up there because of frauds and hoaxes. They say he's an oysterman. He's a rich kid, a trust fund kid. He was getting oysters for his mother's restaurant. Big deal. It's not like he was like, oh, this is the way my family has survived for generations working an oyster farm and going out there crack of dawn. Yeah, right. all a bunch of hoaxes, misrepresentations, exaggerations. That's how they function. That's all they got. That's all they got. And what's her name? Laura Loomer talking about this character here twice. She put up this character in New Jersey. Adam Holloway, New Jersey Democrat primary winner. Adam Holloway was just exposed for volunteering with the Benevolence Internal Foundation, an entity federal courts and the 9/11 Commission explicitly designated as a front group used to fund Osama bin Laden's al-Qaeda network. Do you hear that? That's serious business. Very serious. The congressional candidate worked directly with the logistics operation within that foundation that reportedly laid the groundwork for the slaughter of 3,000 Americans. Yet the Democrats are backing his run for Congress. How come this isn't all over the news? An immediate federal investigation must be launched to permanently bar this al-Qaeda and Hamas-linked jihadist from ever setting foot in Congress. What's he even doing in this country? What's he even doing in this country? And she followed it up with this. New Jersey Democrat primary winner Adam Holloway celebrated his election victory alongside Islamic jihadis Linda Sarsour, who once called for jihad against President Trump. It sounds kind of insurrection-y to me. Despite pretending to be a mainstream plastic surgeon, Holloway spent a lot of time, quote, working inside a Hamas-controlled hospital in Gaza that was operating a terrorist tunnel network, and he used a westernized name as a textbook form of, we talked about this, taqiyya, a shield of faith, lying as a shield of faith, to mask his deep ties to jihadist networks. Holloway wasn't even born in the United States and is originally from Egypt, where his Muslim Brotherhood roots originate from. How many times I said MB, Muslim Brotherhood? Adam Holloway must be immediately investigated for his blatant ties to Islamic terror networks, and he must be barred from ever entering the United States Congress. I say send him back to Egypt. Put him in a little reed, weave a reed raft and plop him in the reed raft and shove it down the Nile. Just like Moses. End up in Egypt and stay there. But anyway, we got these lunatic lefties. Antifa radicals clash with police, chant Charlie Kirk deserved to die outside TPUSA's Women's Leadership Summit. One of the more grotesque displays. A left-wing agitator attempted to reenact Kirk's assassination in front of attendees. You know, that's the kind of thing that gets your nose twisted. You know, and I'm not talking about fighting words. You know, fighting words are one thing. I've talked in the past about somebody getting their nose twisted or somebody getting a foot in the rear end or somebody getting their chops smacked. I mean, that's one thing. That's just, you know, rough and tumble, because I'm going to talk about this Carmela Anthony here in a minute. But anyway, this kind of behavior, you're subject to get your nose twisted or a kick in the pants, you know. But anyway, here, I think it's a girl or a very young boy doing this. What is a despicable group? I mean, what a despicable group. speaking of despicable groups, this is the morons in New Jersey. Ha ha ha! And Nick Sordor put this up. I like watching this. This is where there's storms coming through, and they're out there, doing their best to protect illegal aliens. And I can't remember her name. I call her What's Her Face. She'll always be What's Her Face to me. Here's somebody who the one that lost her life trying to run over a agent. And they put up those nice pictures. This is the real her. Look at those eyes. Look at those crazy eyes. We said you can tell when they're, look at that. And they put up those nice pictures of her. Abusing her kid, was burning with cigarettes, wearing her shirt, pushing to psychologically abuse children, confuse them. And this meme, don't forget this meme. There she is. I feel bad for you. And the fraudsters, we don't think about you at all. That's right. You nut. You gave up your life for people who could give a damn about you. And that's the same thing these idiots are doing out in the rain. And I like watching it. Ha ha, look at them all suffering. Hey, like the kids used to say in school, suffer. What's the matter? Is it cold? I hope it's cold, kid. Bunch of degenerate, malcontent commies. A bunch of commie malcontents. Where's your... It's thinned out. That crowd is really thinned out. There's not many of them left. Holding on to their stupid little tent. That's funny. Suffer, 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 you freaks. And all those detainees are in there looking out the window. What the hell's wrong with those people? Eating good food. They get better food than the average person sitting in a damn county jail does. Goodbye to you, you creeps. Anyway, what's this one? What is this one? Let me see. I'm not even sure what this one is. Oh, let me see. Oh, yeah. This is where a deputy shoves these two. I mean, he gives them a heck of a shove at the very beginning. And he looks like he's happy with himself. But you hear this woman hollering there. Unless I missed it somewhere, she claims he grabbed her chest. Why'd you grab my chest? Why'd you grab my chest? I was looking at her too, and I'd be asking the same question. Why would you? But anyway, here, I didn't see anything like that.
Pushing people around, you fucking pigs. You like grabbing my chest? Yeah? You like fucking sexy? You fucking what you got for me? What you got for me?
Hey, we'll treat you better when we get the upper hand.
I just saw him shove them halfway to Texas. I didn't see her grab anybody. But they always are there on the cues. Who's this? Are you for us or against us? Oh, Arizona Democrats seeking new 2020 election indictment against Trump. Could that be what Midas Trash Network was talking about? Trump's legal death spiral. They're trying this tired old crap again. Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays has indicated plans to seek a new indictment in the case against alternate electors from the 2020 presidential election. You know, they need to just go ahead and snatch this woman up and put her ass in federal prison. But maybe that's coming. All for some kind of press. Look here. Who's four Republicans? Here's one, Murkowski. Just in, 4 Senate Republicans joined Dems to kill the SAVE Act. So we know one was Murkowski, right? And I guess the other one would be Cornyn. Who voted against the SAVE Act? And here's Susan Collins. Wait a minute, I got a story on her. She's usually cropping up in this. Susan Collins, she talks like she's having a nervous breakdown all the time. Here she is. She's running against Graham Plattner. How do we get two garbage candidates like this? McConnell. Thank you, Miss Sue. McConnell, Murkowski. And this thing on the screen, Susan Collins. GOP boosts Collins. Well, you know, they leave us these horrible choices. National Republicans are investing another $3 million to boost Senator Susan Collins' re-election campaign in Maine against the Democrat challenger Graham Plattner. Struggles to regain momentum following a string of controversies. So in Maine, she's got to act like she's half Democrat, which means you're all Democrat. It's like saying, I'm halfway pregnant. You can't be halfway pregnant, okay? Where's my other one? I got to get that other one down. There it is. So, we should have primaried her, got somebody in there good. Here's some more freaks. This is from Freedom News. And the title of the video just said, more Antifa lunatics getting roughed up by the cops. I said, oh, boy, that's good. I like watching that. I'll go ahead and get it. But anyway, somewhere in the middle of this video, you'll see a guy standing in the middle of the street with his hands behind his back, and the cops just walk around him. For some reason, I wish they would just gave him a little quick wood shampoo right on top of the head, but they didn't. But anyway, here they go.
You're fucking pussy!
Shame, 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 shame on all of you!
So they just grabbed some guy. He was just standing right there. And they just grabbed him, pulled him into the facility.
Stop her watching you put that phone in this bed! Your soul is gonna have to answer for what you're doing here! You can try and act like you don't hear me, but I know you do! I know you hear what's going on here, and you are on the wrong side! You are wrong! You are being evil! You are being evil! Life and good call to your soul! Life and good call to your soul!
Stop hitting him!
Hey, life and good call to your soul! Is it in man, why? What are you doing?
What about the guy with the baton that came out and beat us? We got footage on that. You guys let the guys come out and beat us with batons. Look at you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yes, sir. Step back for me. Yes, sir. Step back for me. Yes, sir. Step back for me. Watch out, number pro. Back up.
She beat us. Man, we got video of it. We got video of it. What about her? You go to jail. You go to jail. You guys come out. Goofball. Goofball. You smell like shit. Go brush your teeth. You fucking stink. You fucking stink. You can't even open the door. Stupid. Go home. Go home. Piece of shit. Arrest her. Arrest her.
piece of shit?
That's the Newark Police Department, too. That isn't even nice. They're thinning out. They're thinning out. And that's good. We want them to thin out a bunch of creepos. Wear them down. How you doing, Sparky? All right. Let's see. Oh, you got a new house. All right. That's exciting. Let me see. No, you didn't miss much. You missed. You might have missed the weirdos getting blown down by a storm, which is always fun. Ha ha ha! Watching them struggle. You know, I was telling y'all about these drones that have fiber optic cables. Here's a picture of a road in the Donbass. Okay, look at what this. No, this is a bird's nest. A bird's nest. I had a picture of a road that's just covered in these fiber optic cables. But they found birds are making use of it. They're making bird's nests out of these fiber optic cables from drones. You know, so instead of them being operated by internet, they have a really thin fiber optic cable that leads back to the operator, 1,000 feet. You can sit there and steer the drone, pilot the drone. And birds have been making nests out of them. They've got them everywhere. They're all over the place. Bird nests made from fiber optic cables from drones in Donbass. I guess the world is going to keep on turning. And, birds, they don't know what's going on. They say, hey, man, this stuff looks okay. Looks comfy. And they weaved a nest out of it. But anyway, here is a rocket attack. And I'm curious as to what they were using. But this hit Russia. a fuel depot inside Russia. Yeah, things are heating up there. I kind of answered my own question. Showed that drone going overhead, I suppose. And here's the Iranians put out a video of their medium range ballistic missiles. And the reporter was wondering why they didn't use their short range ballistic missiles, because Kuwait was a target. It was considered short range. Who knows? I don't know. But here it is, a medium range ballistic missile being shot. You can tell it's Iranians because you hear that, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Yeah, praising God when you're sending death and destruction. Yeah, that makes sense. Breaking news. What is this? Chief of Staff Eyal Zamir is currently in a situation assessment with the General Staff. This is where the Iranians have been attacking Israel, the Hezbollah, okay? And Trump is holding them back. Israel, at least at the time I went live, he was. The IDF will strike the enemy with force as soon as the green light is given. Who is in charge of the green light? Stop and go. That's Donald J. Trump. Like I said, they got a Rottweiler on one side and a Bull Mastiff on the other. So what happened was some attacks were made. I had a lot of alerts. Iran strikes U.S.-backed Kurdish separatist positions in Sulaymaniyah, Iraq. I don't know how you say that, but that's close enough for me. And I said they have been arming the Kurds. That's been going on for a month. And this is probably the third strike on Kurds that's not being reported in the regular media. But the reason they're striking the Kurds in Iraqi territory is because we've been arming them. They're getting ready. You know, if they're not going to come to agree with Trump, Trump's got more than the Rottweiler and the Mastiff. He's got the Kurds too. The next few hours will be critical. Israeli journalist Gideon Levy says, which direction the conflict takes depends on Trump. Al Jazeera reports. How devoted is he to stopping Israel? The coming hours are crucial, critical. Well, if he's got something cooking he doesn't want screwed up, he's going to make them stop. If they need to smack upside the head, he's going to tell them to smack them upside the head. Yedioth Aharonoth, according to received reports in a conversation that ended shortly ago, Netanyahu informed Trump of an intention for a powerful attack on Iran. The U.S. president clarified that the Americans will not take part in such an attack if it is carried out. So he pretty much told Netanyahu, you're on your own, and he also probably said something similar to what he said earlier in the week, right? You know, he used some pretty strong language. But he's given a semi-green light. Administration note. This may be a classic U.S. trap designed to deceive and prevent a market shock that is set to open in the next 2 hours. This was about 9 p.m. Washington time. This came out. Trump's statements are fragile and unstable. That's just a reporter's opinion from the other side of the world. It may be an attempt to prevent an oil price gap spike due to the current conflict. I don't know about that. I believe they're going to turn up the heat and the fear factor and lower it, turn it up, lower it as they need to. Trump to Fox News. What I would suggest to Iran, you've shot your missiles. That's enough. Get back to the table and make a deal. That's when they shot those ballistic missiles over toward Israel, which they were shot down. Trump on Fox News. We are close to reaching an agreement. You know, and I had a couple of reports about France and Britain. They were going to send over minesweepers when they thought the war was coming to an end. The U.S. media was putting out articles like, well, even if it comes to an end, everything's going to be a mess for years. And when they thought it was all coming to an end. And then Britain and France said, we're coming, we're bringing our ships, and we're going to help, when everything looked like it was coming to an end. But when things flared up again, they disappeared. Now they put out a statement. All British nuclear submarines are out of service and undergoing maintenance. What country would put out a statement like this? What country would put out a statement like this? According to the Telegraph, the new nuclear submarines will not join the fleet for at least several years. They're talking about ones they're building, and all the existing ones are out of service going to maintenance. Why would they put out that statement? You could just as easily say, oh, don't you worry about our nuclear submarines. They're out there, and you better watch out. No, they say, oh, we haven't got anything going on. Why would they tout their vulnerability? And this is another idiotic post. Who put this out? Associated Press. Like I said, who the hell are they? A bunch of foreign entities, press entities. American military personnel do not understand what Donald Trump's order to send 5,000 troops to Poland actually means in practice. What the hell do you need? A novel, a book, and a pillow for your head so you can read it? You're ordered to go. That's where you go. Poland's supposed to be an ally. Remember Lech Walesa? Remember Pope John Paul? Poland, all of them Poland. The country's armed forces are awaiting clarification from the Pentagon about the number of troops in Europe, which could potentially cost taxpayer millions of dollars. What the hell do you think it's been costing us for the last 3/4 of a century? So 5,000 troops, all of a sudden, the Associated Press is worried about it? Citing 2 Pentagon officials. Oh, so we got 2 Pentagon officials leaking crap. Ethereal BS. Our troops are confused and it's costing us money. AP sources note that the uncertainty in this matter not only alarms European allies, well, they better be damn well alarmed, because it's time to row your own boat. Also risks, quote, undermining the morale of military personnel. How much more can you undermine it by telling them you got to take this injection or you lose your career? And you got to sit here in a tank next to this guy dressed like a woman. How much more can you undermine their morale? Who do not understand what is happening. You're not supposed to understand. You get deployed, you get deployed. And you follow orders of your superiors. So 2 Pentagon officials are running their jaws about nothing. just to give people stuff to write about, that all the lefty press and lefty troublemakers that are financed by our own government can spread around to cultivate discontent. Cuba has started distributing weapons to civilians. Boy, I hope that works out good for you. Urging the population to prepare for a possible U.S. invasion, according to the Verizon finale. I bet you they're giving their weapons to bureaucrats, okay? And people, the elites. They're not giving them to the average person doesn't know what they're going to eat the next day. According to the publication, some measures are related to the growing tension around the island and the strengthening of American military presence in the region. How much more strengthened can we be than Guantanamo Bay sitting there with beautiful brand new courtrooms and expanded facilities and even a geriatric center for our elderly prisoners? As CNN correspondent Patrick Oppman noted, is he kind of like Paul Krugman? Is he like Paul Krugman, who said we need to put people who support MAGA into re-education camps? Is that the kind of idiot we're dealing with here? Preparations for a possible military scenario have already affected daily life in Havana. Oh, like daily life. Have you ever watched YouTube videos of people that go to Havana, Cuba? You've got tween, okay? Tweens as prostitutes, okay? People are broke. There's nothing going on. It's a hellscape. But it's already affected daily life in Havana. In state institutions and organizations. Oh, that's the only place it would affect it. Where the elites and the bureaucrats have their nests feathered. They are discussing actions in case of an emergency and possible military operations. Well, I hope you give those guns out to the regular people, regular Jane and Joes. The Swedish Minister of Migration stated that Ukrainian men of conscription age should be sent back to participate in the war in order to win. Oh, what does that mean? That means they're going to round them up and ship them off to Zelensky. No more living high on the hog in Sweden. I bet you every single damn one of them are on taxpayer dime. Military age men. Sound familiar? Oh my gosh, I didn't realize what time it is. Holy cow. I want to put this blast from the past up, folks. Right here, blast from the past. Guess who it's from? Our favorite letter, 17. 14, 15, now comes the pain. If the FBI or DOJ was infiltrating a campaign for the benefit of another campaign, that is a really big deal. Only the release or review of documents that the House Intelligence Committee, also Senate Judiciary, is asking for can give conclusive answers, drain the swamp. Look at how long ago that was, folks. Ha ha, that's right. Kim, ha ha, how you doing? It goes fast when you're having fun. Just a reminder, folks. When are things going to start getting dumped out? Oh my goodness, I got so much more to cover, but we will cover it tomorrow. I want to talk about Carmelo Anthony. It's looking grim for him, and I hope people that want him to get off, I hope they pay attention to the testimony and they turn away from hardened hearts and realize that justice has to be done here. This person needs some serious consequences for what he did. The media portrayal of Carmelo Anthony versus the real Carmelo Anthony, okay? There he is. Don't tell me he's some innocent kid going to get a bag of Skittles. We'll talk about him more tomorrow. That trial is moving fast. They've already done their closing arguments. The state has rested the case. I'm sorry, they did not do their closing arguments. And for posterity's sake, there he is. That is not an act. That is an angry man who's been abused, just like we have been abused by corrupt individuals in the government and in the press and everywhere else. We've been maligned. We've been slandered. We've been drugged through the mud, and we're sick of it. Everybody can see it, and it's coming to a head. I want to play this last few moments. You get to hear the mic crunch under Donald Trump's feet. So I hope you all enjoy this video. And what do I always say? I say thank you for spending your precious time with me. I should be going live tomorrow night. If you're subscribed, you'll know when I go live, right? So why don't you do that? And once again, I want to thank everybody who went to buy me a coffee and helped out. It really perked me up today. Sometimes it's, oh my goodness, I've got to get a picture of that. I got a big green moth with a tail behind it. Man, that thing's got to be, one of the biggest moths I've ever seen. But anyway, folks, maybe I'll get a picture of it. Sadie better leave that one. That's a pretty thing. But anyway, folks, you all have a great night. Enjoy this clip. I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.
And you're crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked, and so is ABC, and CBS, and CNN.
But Mr. President,
you're one-sided crooked network. So let's call it quits, because I've had enough. Thank you, darling. Have a good time.
Mr. President, let's please. I traveled all the way to Wisconsin.
I've sat in the rain with you.
I know.
I've sat in the rain with you for an hour, on and off in the rain, and I've given you enough time. You ought to straighten out your press, because you know what?
Mr. President,
a country can never be great with a dishonest
press. Listen, we traveled all the way to Wisconsin for this interview.